Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Tom Johnson begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, road safety groups are pleading with Tasmanians to travel safely this holiday period. Police will be ramping up their presence on our roads, hoping our skyrocketing road toll doesn't get any worse.
Ensuring safety on our roads. Traffic slowed at Cambridge today as police breath tested drivers.
Now, in addition to that, the transport safety inspectors are also working in collaboration with Tasmania Police. They're looking at vehicle defects, vehicle registrations and also licences as well.
Operation Safe Arrival begins tomorrow. Police ramping their presence up over the holiday period.
People are often not at work enjoying a holiday and of course consuming alcohol.
Police say last weekend they caught 3 drivers at double the limit or more, including 1 learner and 1 woman involved in a crash. This year, 50 people have lost their lives and 297 have been involved in serious crashes.
Let's work together, keep each other safe. It's something that we can do.
With roadworks taking place on major highways, the Civil Contractors Federation is pleading with Tasmanians to abide by reduced limits. Distraction and inattention are also a factor in 1 in 5 crashes, according to the Road Safety Advisory Council.
We are urging people not to use those phones when they're driving. If they don't feel they've got the willpower to stop looking at it, they should turn it off, put it away, put it on silent mode and avoid using it altogether.
The last thing we want to do as police officers is have to go and bang on somebody's door and pass a death message because of a crash that could have been avoided.
The goal for Tasmanians this holiday season, avoiding any more fatalities. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Troublesome road patches around the state are set for upgrades. Huon Road is one of 17 sites identified by the federal government's Black Spot program, with the shoulders set to be sealed.
We have lots of tourist traffic. We also have the local communities of Ferntree, South Hobart, that use this road regularly. It's a popular cycling route.
It does important work in making sure our roads are safer across Tasmania for all road users, and not just motorists but pedestrians, cyclists, truck drivers.
The federal government has awarded $2.6 million to the state, with bridge safety in Sheffield and new roundabouts in Devonport and Latrobe among the projects. A 47-year-old man has fronted the Hobart Magistrates Court after allegedly being found with $400,000 worth of MDMA pills at Sandy Bay yesterday. The Hobart man was charged with several offences, including trafficking and manufacturing a controlled drug. He's now been remanded in custody to reappear in court on January 6. The state government has again come under fire over power prices, with Labor calling for relief for struggling businesses. It comes as a consultation period begins on the location of a long-awaited replacement for Bruni's court complex.
A gas-powered brewery hoping it won't run out of steam. Owner Andrew is worried his power bill might go up a staggering 60% from next month.
At the moment, we're locked into a pretty good price, but once that comes off, we're looking at pretty huge increases.
Renewing calls for a power price cap, Labor is also arguing for targeted support for Tasmanian businesses struggling with high energy costs.
He is operating in an environment where he can't control those costs, but could get relief from those costs if the government actually provided Tasmanian price for Tasmanian power for Tasmanian businesses.
We recently struck an agreement with the Australian government and other states and territories to provide support to Tasmanian householders and businesses, and we look forward to further detail of that being released in the near future.
Just up the street, Bruni residents are calling for Morville Road to be officially ruled out as a potential site for the city's new court.
There's 2 viable locations in the CBD, and with those 2 viable options and all the benefits of keeping it in the CBD, there's no reason why Morville Road shouldn't be excluded.
Diagrams of the proposed new locations have been released, showing the footprint of each potential complex. The Attorney-General says both new options fit the bill, with plenty of room at either for expansion if necessary. Residents say they prefer the CBD locations because they're closer to services and further away from homes and schools. But the government says it won't rule out the Morville Road site until after the consultation period is finished in February. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Community consultation commissioned by UTAS has found an absence of trust in the university. For more, we're joined by state political reporter Josh Duggan. Josh, what else has the Shake Up report revealed?
Tom, the report found that any previous consultation undertaken by the university on their contentious city move wasn't really known to the general public. Along with finding a lack of trust, the report also found that the university's own website isn't viewed as accurate or truthful. The report recommends much better communication with staff and students, and it also identified some key themes. A UTAS spokesperson said the university welcomes the report and it will inform the next iteration of the city campus master plan. The Shake-Up panel was formed in September this year as a response to community concerns. Opponents of the move say that this is proof the university needs to abandon the plans.
The report says that students want a proper campus. They don't want to be in buildings scattered across the shopping areas of Hobart. They want to be listened to about how their buildings are made.
Pressure is mounting on the university. This follows the recent elector poll of Hobart City Council voters who found that there was 75% of people who were opposed to the move. Tom?
Yeah, some pressure indeed. Thanks very much for that, Josh. Northern Midlands residents will see a doctor shortage addressed in the new year. Campbelltown was set to lose its sole GP in early January. However, Ochre Health will step in while it considers establishing a permanent general practice in the town. Premier and Health Minister Jeremy Rockcliffe thanked the provider. The government will continue to work with them on solutions. Tasmanian businesses are being supported to help manage their organic waste through a new trial backed by the state's Hospitality Association and Veolia. The Salamanca precinct has been chosen to look at the most effective ways to address the barriers in place, with a hope to grow sustainability awareness in the sector.
We did a survey not long ago and had an overwhelming response from operators saying that this was a major issue and one that they really wanted to look at.
As the waste levy has come in, that's sort of going to increase the cost of landfill, and so we need to find ways that actually can divert waste from landfill. It's good for the environment, it's good for Tasmania, and it's good for the business.
The industry currently generates more than 24,000 tonnes of food waste annually, the majority sent to landfill. Bravery and service has been recognised at the Surf Lifesaving Australia Rescue Awards. The Tasmanian Flood Rescue Team has received national honours for their exceptional efforts during the New South Wales flooding event. Rescuing those in need and supplying first aid, the Tassie team was involved in 3 significant rescues during 7 days of deployment. The national initiative recognises exceptional rescue skills on and off the beach. Emergency department staff at the Royal Hobart Hospital have been recognised for their efforts in keeping morale high while battling increasing strain on the system. Honoured with a National Wellbeing Award, the cohort is implementing strategies to highlight the importance of good physical and mental health.
For those tasked with working on the front line, a new challenge awaits them almost every day.
Any emergency department is a tough place to work, and ours is certainly no exception. And many of the reasons for that are, beyond the ability of the emergency department staff to control.
But Royal Hobart Hospital's emergency department is attempting to keep spirits up, going so far to take out the Australasian College for Emergency Medicine Wellbeing accolade.
What we can control is how we look after our staff, and so we've directed our efforts towards that, towards trying to value our staff and preserve their health and wellbeing despite of the conditions that they're under.
The staff-driven initiatives are centred around recognising colleagues for their efforts and debriefing after critical incidents.
This is our staff taking the initiative to look after themselves and look after each other and creating a team.
In what's been a tough 2 years for the sector and still fighting ongoing problems, the mental health of workers is paramount for advocates.
It's really important that there are activities in the workplace to encourage staff and their wellbeing. They work in a very extremely stressful situation at the best of times.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
And Tasmanians are being asked to do their part to prevent hospitals becoming overwhelmed by COVID this Christmas. The AMA says staff at the Royal Hobart Hospital are at breaking point, with some called back from leave to fill critical shortages. We're being asked to wear masks in public settings to reduce the risk of catching and spreading the virus. They're also calling on the state government to ramp up education about mask wearing.
People have decided that, well, the government's not telling me it's important, therefore I won't do it anymore. And we need people to remember that COVID is increasing.
The state government says it will continue to review its messaging to the community based on public health advice. A Tasmanian photographer who captured some of the Sydney Hobart's most iconic images has donated some personal favourites to the Tasmanian Maritime Museum. A number of Richard Bennett's works will be rotated through the building as the snapper prepares to mark a special anniversary next year.
It's a simple philosophy for the man who has seen and snapped all the blue water classic has offered.
And to be in the Sydney Hobart is something that they aspire to, and I'm out there telling their story.
What began with a few yachts in 1974 has become Richard Bennett's life. Every year he takes to the air and captures each Sydney Hobart entrant, painting a picture of what the TV cameras miss.
Until I went out there shooting the race in all-weather aircraft, nobody had seen the Sydney Hobart apart from the start and the finish.
His works have gone around the world, and now his favourites have a permanent home, with Richard donating some of his collection to the Maritime Museum.
His work captures the essence of the race, the essence of the yachts, the sea, the weather, and the cruise.
This spectacular shot, taken more than 30 years ago, one of his personal favourites.
Shows the beauty of the sea and the relationship between the yacht and the ocean.
It hasn't always been plain sailing. Richard put down the camera to join the rescue operation, which occurred during the infamous 1998 race.
We spent a total of 10 hours in the air holding station above stricken yachts, and the seas were unbelievable.
This time next week, Richard will be rising at 5 a.m. to be in the air at first light. The 2023 race will mark his 50th anniversary covering the event, with the veteran having plenty of wind left in his sail.
If I've done it for 49 years, I don't see why I won't be doing it in another 10.
It's the power of the story that goes with extraordinary photographs, and the photographs are documenting an amazing sight.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
An important event helping to keep a local sporting club alive is returning for another year after receiving $20,000 in funding from the National Australia Day Council. Preparations are well underway for the Bruni Bowls and Community Club to bring live music action to the island on January 26.
It's a very family-orientated event in a lovely environment down at Adventure Bay. And the bands just want to come back and enjoy the day.
We decided to give it a run last year, especially during COVID, because of the lack of numbers. We wanted to try and survive with the club.
Locals are being encouraged to head along and shake their tail feather at the free festivities. Visitors venturing to Tasmania Zoo have received a welcome surprise, with 2 new residents joining the family. The Northern Institution now hosts Australia's largest primate collection, with the addition of a pair of young red-handed tamarins.
Getting up close and personal with Tasmania Zoo's newest playful primates.
We've just got 2 red-handed tamarins have arrived from Queensland. They're adorable little monkeys that have joined the zoo family.
The Launceston-based business is now one of only 3 zoos in the country that has opened the gates to these cheeky and inquisitive residents.
It's very exciting. So this edition now gives us the largest variety of primates in all of Australia. So we've got more monkey and gibbon species than any other zoo.
The 2 tamarins are already making their mark, putting on a show and feeding the hearts of patrons.
Visitors have been pretty impressed by them. They got little red socks and gloves on, which is pretty cute, and they kind of have a little face like a gremlin, which is pretty awesome to see. Definitely very adorable.
Originally from South America, these curious creatures will now call Tasmania Zoo home, joining 13 other primate species.
Here we also have some new residents. We have Macca, a white-cheeked gibbon. She's come all the way from France just recently.
Also seeing the arrival of Gin from Melbourne Zoo.
Macca and Gin are now the only breeding pair of white-cheeked gibbons in Australia.
With plenty of precious primates now present at Tasmania Zoo, visitors are encouraged to swing past during the holidays. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanians on the hunt for last-minute festive treats and gifts are encouraged to take advantage of Salamanca Market falling on Christmas Eve this year. Timed perfectly, stallholders will have plenty to offer, from fresh flowers to beautiful berries, with the big man in red even planning to stop by and spread the holiday cheer.
Christmas is raspberries and strawberries. Is there a pavlova or a cheesecake that doesn't benefit from raspberries and strawberries?
I've got my Christmas lilies here and people want them open on the day, and so that's what we're saying to people is that, you know, we'll have some beautiful flowers ready to go, fragrant, and it's a good last minute thing.
This marks the first time since 2016 that Christmas Eve has fallen on market day. An iconic Launceston swimming spot has reopened just in time for Christmas. Cataract Gorge's popular pool at First Basin has been closed for months after repeated flooding. Lifeguards will be on patrol every day over the school holidays, except Christmas Day.
Well, after their stunning win over the Scorchers in Launceston on Monday, the Hurricanes will be looking for their second win of the season tonight. They face the Sydney Sixers of the SCG, who are celebrating Tasmanian captain Jordan Silk's 100th BBL game. You can see the match here on 7 Tasmania straight after the news. The Jack Jumpers will be looking for an early Christmas present when they host the Illawarra Hawks later tonight. After defeats to Adelaide and Cairns last week, Tasmania has fallen to 6th on the NBL ladder. They go into tonight's match as favourites, with the bottom of the ladder Hawks winning just 2 games so far this season. The Hawks will also be without imports Tyler Harvey and Michael Fraser. Tip-off at MyState Bank Arena is at 7:30.
Good evening. Well, the sun's track across the sky reached its highest point for the year today, marking the summer solstice. This allowed Hobart to reach 23 degrees, Launceston 24, Devonport 20 today and Bruni 19. 25 was the warmest at Bushy Park. Grove reached 24. 21 in Friendly Beaches, Strawn and Flinders Island. King Island 20, along with St Helens. Lyawini the low with 3 degrees. Large areas of cloud today all over the state, bringing just a hint of humidity. Extensive cloud is over the top end as thunderstorms gather there, and also over much of the Territory, Victoria and New South Wales. More cloud over Central Australia. Tomorrow a tropical low forms just south of Darwin, connecting points to the north with a trough, one of many troughs over the mainland. A high creeps into the picture over southern waters. Winds a bit lighter than recent times as softer variable breezes tend more northwesterly later in the day. Tomorrow for Hobart, a top of 22, a shower or two, maybe a storm. Similar conditions for Huonville, 24 the maximum, 24 as well for Campania with that shower and possible storm. Partly cloudy for Launceston, 26 the high, 22 for Devonport, sunny for Georgetown, 24. Burnie expecting 20 degrees and mostly sunny. Strawn 22, Wynyard 21 degrees. St Helens tomorrow expecting 21 and mostly sunny, partly cloudy for Swansea 21 and 21 also for Port Arthur. UV at the extreme measurement of 11 tomorrow. To Christmas Eve and a mostly fine partly cloudy day, the 60% chance of a shower over Strawn. On Boxing Day Eve we can expect a fine mostly sunny day, just a 20% chance of a shower in the west, Hobart and Launceston 25, and on Monday fine and sunny, Launceston pushing close to 30. Sunny and 36 in Perth tomorrow, 24 in Adelaide, partly cloudy weather for Melbourne, possible storms over Canberra, Sydney and Darwin. Bit of cloud over Hobart, 17 at the moment, Launceston 20 degrees and cloudy over Devonport and 17. Good weather happening, Tom, and by this time next week we'll be saying this is the summer we've been waiting for.
At long last, it's finally here. Thank you very much for that, Murph. And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later on with some updates. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.